Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. Now, it's getting to the end point of the season. We're going to start doing some predictions of who we think is going to be up there in terms of the awards. Today, we're going to do the managers, well, the best manager in this season, or who we think is most deserving of winning the manager of the season. I'm going to let Quaker go first. Who are you going with, man?
My top manager of the season. I don't think there's that many candidates, to be fair. I think a lot of teams, apart from if you're like a Man City fan, maybe if you're a West Ham fan and possibly a Leicester fan, you're happy with the entirety of your season.
It's been a topsy-turvy.
It's been topsy-turvy. So like even managers that are going to finish in the top four, even like Manchester United who are going to finish second comfortably, I wouldn't necessarily say they're thrilled to death with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even though they are playing behind, or they are behind one of the greatest teams we've ever seen in Man City.
It's a good point. So, who are you going with?
So in terms of who I'm going with, it's a tough one. I think that Brendan Rodgers has done a wonderful job at Leicester, considering the injuries he's had. But I do think David Moyes has done a fantastic job at West Ham, not just because he's had to deal with injuries, but because he's had to deal with a really razor-thin squad.
There's levels. I mean, in terms of talent and like...
But you predict West Ham to go down, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean in terms of like the level of talent within the Leicester squad and the level of talent within the West Ham squad.
Yeah.
Leicester are a brilliant team. They've got... Like, not to say that West Ham are not at all, but like,
no, I agree.
In terms of base level talent, player for player, like Leicester should be there or thereabouts, and obviously Brendan Rodgers has done an amazing job. But
yeah. So what you're saying? You agree?
No,
with Moyes?
I'm in complete agreement.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. Yeah, no, I think David Moyes, in terms of like what he's done with the resources available, I think he's just like done a ridiculous job. He's got like one recognised striker, Mikel Antonio, who's not even really a striker, and they're fifth in the league right now.
Well, we have one now. We spent half the season with Hilaire as well.
Yeah.
You know, being the resident West Ham fan, it's rare that I ever hear any sort of praise from you two when it comes to West Ham. So,
West Ham are good.
We are good. Obviously,
it's not great.
He's always poking. He's always poking.
Yeah, but you always
right.
bite. So
the thing is with David Moyes, it's not necessarily the even all the points you were saying. You've also got to look at the budget he's done it on. You've also got to look on the circumstances surrounding the club.
Mate, I literally, same as you, thought you were down.
Yeah, so Quaku is quick to point out that I said we'd go down. He points it out whenever he can. Like I said we'd go down.
Project Restart, you were looking bad.
Yeah, I mean, last year, at the end of the season, we were lucky to come back out of COVID and put in some really strong form. That was when Antonio was scoring for fun. But even then, we had a ridiculously small squad. And in the transfer window, in the summer transfer window last season, before we started the podcast, there was all sorts of uncertainty around the club. Quaker, if you remember, there was the TalkSport interview just before you worked there, where you had David Sullivan on the radio talking about our ins and outs of the transfers, selling Diangana, digging out the fans. There was all sorts of unrest all around the club. And David Moyes has come into the club for his second spell. He shored up our defence. You know, look, we look like one of the best defences in the league this year. You know, and look at Soufal. He brought in Soufal. He's brought in Soucek permanently. Brought in Ben Rama, who hasn't really hit the ground running.
He's a player that will take time.
Yeah.
And with that Diangana deal, I mean,
you got the best out.
Yeah, seemingly.
Yeah.
And I guess there was a lot of hype. And obviously a club's always going to get hyped about a young, talented player, especially like someone that's tricky like him. But I mean, it doesn't really look like much is happening on that end in terms of the development. So yeah, maybe you did get the best out of it, particularly when you're sat fifth and sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, it's all circumstantial because if we're 17th and they're 10th, do you know what I mean? It's a different
but that's
narrative,
football, isn't it? And seemingly it's gone well for you.
Yeah, I think. Drawing back on that, this is going down a rabbit hole. But the whole, just part of the saga surrounding Diangana was, we let him go, young prospect. We just let Ngakia go a few months before let his contract expire. And then you had David Sullivan go on TalkSport and say, we got 9 wingers. Like it was something like that. And then we bring in Ben Rama, and then David Moyes apparently isn't Benrahma wasn't a David Moyes signing. Apparently, he wanted Eberiche Eze. Couldn't get him, so we signed Benrahma. So
of course he wanted Eze. He's
you know
a
what I mean?
baller.
You've only got to look at Benrahma now. He's not even playing for us, you know. And it's like, you know, you think to yourself, like with the squad being so razor thin at the moment, could Diangana have come off the bench? Could he have done something for us? Yeah. Who knows? Especially when we're playing games against Chelsea, and you know. We're so thin on the floor,
and that's testament. Obviously, like before the game, I predicted a 3-0 Chelsea win because our squad depth is absolutely ridiculous compared to West Ham. Like, and that's why we have I don't know. It's not unfounded arrogance when it comes to Chelsea, but like in terms of that, West Ham squad should know where they shouldn't be competing with Chelsea in terms of the amount of money that we spent, the talent we brought in, and for David Moyes to have that West Ham team doing what they're doing, like
on a similar sentiment, like you say, yeah, we've got all that talent. Little shout out to Thomas Tuchel because he has been really, really good second half of the season, coming in steady ship. I mean, obviously nowhere near manager season if you compare the full job some of the other guys have done, but Chelsea looked like it could have been a capitulation of a season.
But is that, just to play devil's advocate, is that Tuchel doing a really good job, or is that just not Frank Lampard being very underwhelming?
It's a mixture. It is a mixture of both because with that team that we had. I predicted us to win the league at the beginning.
Exactly, like you're doing what you should be doing.
Yeah,
especially with the players you're signing.
We're not even doing what we should be doing going forward.
I suppose I'm just happy he's
happy he's doing the job.
Not solve the problem.
He's doing the job.
He's picking the points up.
We should be in Champions League semi-final and FA Cup finals year on year. Like,
yeah, but you say that we haven't been in the Champions League semi-final for 7 years, so that is just.
But the amount of money that we spent in this summer to bring in the kind of players that we brought in was
well, we weren't expecting that to be the case this year whatsoever. I was saying,
but I think that was because you had Frank in charge. I think you had lower expectations.
100%. I think if Tuchel had been in charge of that squad, I would have been expecting everything.
Yeah, true. But back to David Moyes. Is he your?
So again, rabbit holes. We always do this. Yeah, David Moyes for me is by far the Premier League manager of the season, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased. I'm a West Ham fan. I don't think he'll win it. I do think Pep will get it just because Man City have had such a spectacular season. I know you boys stopped them.
I was just about to put doing the quadruple. Back to Pep. Yeah, we stopped them doing the quadruple in a semi-final. And I mean, losing to Chelsea in a semi, whether you're City or not, with the rest of the season they're having, you can kind of chin that one. I mean, they've got a final on Sunday. They are in the semis. And, you know, that's it. It very much is all dependent on that. If they're in the final of the Champions League, they've got to be going to win it. Is Pep Guardiola's Barclays Premier League manager of the season predicated on how well he does in the Champions League?
100%, because like it's all entangled. If David Moyes if West Ham don't win the game to the end of the season, I think you can still make an argument that David Moyes is manager of the season.
Yeah, but maybe that's because like you're expecting less.
If Guardiola only wins the Premier League this season.
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean, like then you can't. Like if Ryan Mason goes and beats him tomorrow,
which you think might happen, but no way. Like no way. City like
maybe.
Oh, come on! Like
maybe
I'm very confident in City going to slap up.
Maybe.
But we're in. Is it unanimous then? Is it unanimous? We all think David Moyes is going to win. Well, we do. Okay. Let's rephrase it. Let's rephrase it. The We Talk Football manager of the season.
Well, who do you think is manager of the season? Because we both said Moyes. Who do you think?
Well, I mean, this is the issue with this. There's still for Pep Guardiola in particular a lot left in the season to play. So,
well,
if we're working on majorities, David Moyes has won.
Yeah, we'll go with that because
go over top three and then we can work out the aggregate. Real quick. Who's top three? So mine's Moyes, Rodgers,
Pep Guardiola.
Yeah,
Pep Guardiola behind Rodgers. Come on.
I would go. Obviously, I'm biased. David Moyes 1, Pep Guardiola 2, and I think Brendan Rodgers 3. I think if Brendan Rodgers does if Leicester do finish in the top 4, I would potentially put him above David Moyes.
What I'm saying in terms of expectations, at the beginning of the season, you expect the season to finish.
Yeah, of course.
So if they don't win the league, that's disappointing for them. Look at what West Ham are doing. Look at what nobody picked Leicester to be in top 4. Nobody did. Like they just didn't.
Yeah, but that's always the way. No, you knew they were going to be there or thereabouts.
Maybe, but not really.
Nobody predicted Liverpool were going to absolutely capitulate and be awful all year. You know, like that's we're just talking in speculation now. Like effectively, anyway, pure and simply, Guardiola.
Yeah.
Moyes.
Yeah.
And Brendan Rodgers in third.
Alright, so Moyes wins it.
Yeah.
Moisey. I'm sorry to say again, it's Moisey.
I've got no problem with that. I'm sorry to say.
It's Moisey. Oh, we love it, boys. David Moyes. Moisinho. The real Moisinho. But
Yeah,
Kwaku.
no, he is. He's. I just don't understand Pep Guardiola. Love this season. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hark back to it. I don't really get it. Like, fair enough. City are having like a.
They're breezing the league. They're absolutely breezing the league.
Man United are single digits behind them. They're like, Man United are shit. We call Man United shit. They're single digit points behind. How great have City been? They've lost like 4-5 games a season in the league.
We're talking about we're comparing them to all of the other managers that he's going up against. He's beating them all. You know,
for sure.
And they're in a semi-final of the Champions League. They were in the semi-final of the FA Cup. They were in the final of the League Cup. I don't really understand what much more you need from a football manager to be the best of the bunch. He's winning it all.
For sure. I just think that
I suppose it's not determined yet. He hasn't won it all yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He hasn't won it all yet. And I know it's bullshit, and I know it's not meritocracy, but we saw Jurgen Klopp win like manager of the season, UEFA manager of the season over Hansi Flick, who won it all. Like, do you know, it's not about just winning it all. It's about how you do it. It's about what the cards that you were dealt. Jose Mourinho's
not one of the best teams to watch, like in the Premier League this season. Arguably, this season hasn't been a great season in football. COVID's massively affected it. Like the transfer market's massively affected it. They are still the best of the bunch. Like,
for sure. I
think you're doing them a disservice.
Possibly, man.
So we're in agreement with David Moyes, but there are rumblings of Pep Guardiola among Discord of Pep Guardiola. But in the meantime, Quakes, where can they find us? Tell them the socials.
I'm so dismayed. I just can't believe Pep Guardiola.
Shocked, dismayed, appalled.
Appalled. The ghoul. You can find us on Instagram at at We Talk Football Podcast. You can find. Is it We Talk Football Podcast?
Oh, this guy.
On Instagram, it's We Talk Football Podcast. On Twitter, it's WTF Podcast 90.
Maybe.
You can find us on...
Oh, I'm going to take over. We're on TikTok. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn.
Like the video and subscribe to We Talk Football Podcast.
Search We Talk Football Podcast. Honestly, this guy, did this guy in charge of anything?
It'll be good one day.
Yeah, hopefully. Make sure you like.
Cheers, guys.
Tyler's just like, I'm trapped. I can't.